Hey friends, thank you so much for joining me here. In today's video, I wanted to dive deeper and talk about why I chose my top 4 favorite guitarists. Now that video sparked a lot of interest and a lot of people left a lot of great comments on their top 4 favorite guitar players, which I think is super cool. And I got to see different lists from different people all over the world. So I figured why not do a longer form video diving deeper into my favorites. If you haven't seen that original video, no worries. I'll save you the time and the suspense. Here's my top 4 favorite guitarists. We all have our favorite players that have influenced us and made us see music in a very certain way. So it's probably no secret at this point who my #1 favorite guitarist is, especially if you've been following me for a while. You know that I post a lot of Van Halen lessons, a lot of the covers, and he just truly is a guy that I never seem to get tired of. I'm always impressed by so many aspects of his playing. Everything from his rhythm into those creative tapping lines, onto the bluesiness in his guitar playing, which I think a lot of that comes from the Eric Clapton influence, the haphazardness, of course, like I said, the creativity, the tapping, the tone, what he did with his guitars, his Frankenstrat. And I just haven't really came across another guitar player who did it in that fashion. It really wasn't since Hendrix we had someone change the landscape of the guitar like Eddie Van Halen did. So now on to Randy Rhoads. Unfortunately, as we all know, Randy had a very short time period in his life, but in the time that he was there, the impact that he made really turned so many heads. What I loved about Randy's guitar playing was a lot of the fills that he would add in between the riffs and in between the song. It was like endless amounts of creativity. Honestly, we could be here all day going through different Randy Rhoads chord fills. So creative in the approach with that. Another thing I want to shed light on with Randy, and I personally have so much appreciation for, is that he was a guitar teacher, a music teacher. And not only that, he actually was in Santa Monica, California. And I'm from Southern California. I taught at a music school in Santa Monica for many years. So to have those kind of similar correlations, if you will, at least for me personally, kind of touches my heart. And I love that about Randy Rhoads, being a phenomenal innovator, a legendary guitar player, certainly in rock, but also being so humble and giving back by being an educator. Before we move on, if you're liking what you're seeing in this video and it's resonating with you, be sure to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. Every single week, I'm putting out tons of content, guitar lessons, covers, original music, and tons of other ideas. So if you're enjoying what you're seeing here, thanks for considering subscribing to the channel. So I would love to see your top 4 favorite guitarists. Leave it in the comments below. Moving on now to James Marshall Hendrix, Jimi Hendrix. Now with Hendrix, it's funny because I think a lot of people dive in wanting to learn Voodoo Child and a lot of his guitar solos. And of course, these are legendary, phenomenal, and they get me going as well. But With Jimi Hendrix, I actually gravitate mostly towards his rhythm guitar playing. I mean, Hendrix has really enabled me to see the guitar in shapes and to compartmentalize things. Was he thinking about this when he was coming up with it? Maybe not, and probably not, but the amount of influence and systematic approach that I personally gained from it definitely puts him in my top 4, just on that alone. Some of the aspects of his lead playing that I've really tried to kind of take from him and use as influence would be some of the bending tendencies that he would have. I just find that his solos had such great phrasing, completely based in blues and rooted in blues. It wasn't about not making mistakes. In fact, he was more of an advocate of not saying the same thing twice. On to Stevie Ray Vaughan. Any of the recordings that I hear from him or any of the live videos that are out there of him, I mean, he is really just smoking up the blues. And every single note mattered, every feel, everything just counted. And you could see in his face that everything came from within. And that alone is what gravitates me to Stevie Ray Vaughan. Now, I absolutely love Stevie Ray Vaughan's shuffle, but he also had this like circular kind of thing to his playing. And it just really made for a deeper pocket shuffle. That's kind of the best way that I can describe that. So these are just some things that I love about these guitar players. They've pretty much been my favorite since towards the beginning, and even to this day, every time I learn some of their stuff, I'm just blown away with the wealth of skill, knowledge, creativity, and so much more. So like I said before, I would love to read in the comments your top 4 favorite guitar players, and if you feel like going the extra mile and giving reasons behind that, I'd love to go through and reply to as many comments as I can. I know a lot of you guys have such great influences out there, and I would like to see what guitar players make you guys tick. That's going to do it for today. If you guys are interested in learning more from any of the 4 players that I mentioned in this video, I do teach private one-on-one lessons via Zoom, and I would love to have you if you're committed and serious about learning. Be sure to follow me at brandonpaulofficial on my other platforms, Instagram and Facebook. Tons of content every single week. I appreciate all the love and support. And of course, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment those top 4 guitar players, and consider subscribing to the channel. I'll see you next week for another video.